Hello, friends. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. I'm just going to make sure that everyone can see and hear me in the various locations. My name is Rory with Sassafras Tarot. I am a little under the weather. You might be able to hear that I'm a little coldy today, but the horrors persist, but so do I. I am here and I am happy to be here. So happy end of February. All right, let me see if I can make sure people can see and hear me. Hey, Ondine, welcome. There we go. Came right on Facebook too. Let me yep, okay, we're good. Everything is audible. No, the horrors persist. Sorry, my computer was making noise. Hey, Laren, welcome. How you doing? Good meowing. Good meowing, everybody. I'm going to take just a couple minutes to share this stream around and also make sure if it's on Facebook that only established followers can comment. And that is because in the past, I have had issues with spammers coming on. So let me tell you about that. We have a secret code here on the Witchy Weather Report. And if you would like me to pull card for you, what I have you do is drop a cat in the chat, put a cat emoji in the chat, or write the word meow, and I will know to pull a card for you. And we do that because it seems like it's like catnip to spammers when someone says like, "Oh, can you pull a card for me?" or whatever. It seems like that immediately draws the spammers over, and they start. If you ever see someone in comments or DMs, either messaging you or commenting and saying, "It's me, Sassafras Tarot. Do you want a reading?" It's not me. I have had spammers make accounts that say Sassafras Tarot that are not me. I will never DM you and try to get you and try to sell you a reading. I don't have time for that. I will never put a comment and say, "Send me money for your reading." I don't have time for that, and that's not how I operate, and that's what the spammers do, so it is not what I do. And the Witchy Weather Report is free. I have a tip jar available. You can see it like in my link tree, and stuff, but you don't need to spend any money today. You can just get a card pulled for you. Anyway, I always make that public service announcement because life is silly and spammers. Anyway, I see Undine already dropping that cat in the chat. I'm not running on all four cylinders today, y'all, because as you can hear, I'm a little under the weather. So if I'm a little slow this morning, I request your patience with me because it's that kind of vibe. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go grab my water bottle because I know I will need the hydration. One moment, friends. One moment. Pay no attention to the witch behind the curtain. Cheers. So, while I am sharing this post, let me ask you my standard 3 questions that I ask at the beginning of every stream. Question number 1. Where are you tuned in from today? I'm broadcasting live from Long Island, New York. Question number 2. What you sipping on today? As you can see, I am drinking purified water from 7-Eleven. I got the 2-for-1 deal last night. Cheers, y'all. And question number 3. This is the important one. How are you feeling today? This is not small talk. I want the real answer, not the polite answer. I want to for real know how you're feeling. We get vulnerable and support each other on my broadcast, so please tell me for realsies. I'm sharing on Facebook because I've noticed that not always does Facebook show the live to followers right away. And I've sometimes have people miss the Witchy Weather Facebook didn't show it to me. So if you follow me on Facebook, first of all, I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch when I do these streams. Um, I'm working on TikTok, but I don't have enough followers on TikTok yet. But I think what you have to do is hit the notification bell on Facebook and also hit like all posts, not just some posts for Sassafras Tarot, and then it'll show you. I think that is the case. I think that's how to do the thing. All right, I am reading today with the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blank, illustrated by Elizabeth Alba. One of my favorite go-to tarot decks. It's just like my comfort deck. It's like a cozy blanket. It's like a warm cup of tea. I love this. I love this tarot deck very much. The imagery is very cute and accessible. It has cats and broomsticks on it. Like, come on, what's not to love? You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to pull a card for all of us. I will review with you that our card for the month of February was the Hermit, and like our general card. And for many of us, February has been kind of an internal month, meaning that things are happening, but it doesn't feel like the plot is moving forward. It feels like the only way to move forward has been showing up for ourselves. I certainly have had an interesting February where parts of my life felt like they were on fire. It was very one step forward, two steps back, back to start again kind of energy. However, things are clearing up this week for me, and it seems like that should be the case for many people. Astrologically, some different things are happening that make things a little bit calmer, and we have a new moon coming up. And on Wednesday, I believe. And new moon's energy is always like good, fresh start energy. I know Mars has been in retrograde for a while, and I believe it just went back direct. And that for many of us may feel better. Melissa says, I hermited so hard. Yeah, what a mood. Okay. Closing all my various windows so I can just see everybody's comments. Hello to everybody. Hey, Brittany, welcome. Good morning. Hello, Shelby. Good morning. In your living room, had some punch, feeling burnt but recovering. I'm so sorry you're so burnt out. It was so good to see you last night. And I am also exhausted, but my body is done because I'm sick. So it's like, okay, I can accept that. I am just adjusting the camera a little bit. Okay, I'm dropping my headphones on the floor. I'm doing great. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Melissa Marie. Welcome. Meow, meow. Hermit was the card of the year for your Witchy Day Planner. Oh, that's really interesting. All right, pulling a card for everybody. Tune in from Staten Island, putting on coffee. Struggling but pushing through. What a mood. Yes, that is. So when I did everyone's weather reports for February, I do this at the beginning of every month, and you can order one. There's a link scrolling across the bottom, and there's one in my bio if you're watching on Instagram. When I do these weather reports at the beginning of the month, the theme that emerged is that February was not about moving the plot forward. It's been about foreshadowing. We can start to see some of the things that will come to fruition or start to build in our lives in this spring. But it is not a time, it's not a time of a lot of things happening. Things that we hope to progress and move forward with. It's more like it's a preparation time. It's like we're prepping for the pop quiz. We're not actually moving forward. So I nicknamed it Foreshadowing February. And then my own personal life went on fire a little bit in February when my car got totaled, and I was like spending every day for most of the month just trying to figure out how I was going to get to my gigs and rehearsals. So briefly, it was Fuck My Life February. And if you are having a Fuck My Life February, my heart goes out to you. I've managed to escape it. It is no longer Fuck My Life February. I got my insurance money and I have a new Subaru. But boy, was it a month. Good meowing. Hi, Chaka. All right, I am shuffling. This card is for everybody. This is our card to kind of guide us, our guide card for the month of coming, the March vibes. And it's the Two of Wands. So we have more foreshadowing energy with the Two of Wands. If you're wondering if it's possible for you to do something, the answer is yes. You do have the resources. We can see that the figure on this card is literally holding a globe in their hands. Their cat is looking up at it, probably because they want to like bap that globe a little bit. Um, all the focus all the focus is on this world, literally having the whole world in your hand. The cat's looking at it, this main character is looking at it, this little salamander friend is looking up at it. And really what this represents is that, yes, you have the resources to accomplish your goals, and um if you feel worried, that's not because you don't have the resources, it's simply self-doubt. And so a good practice all month as you are considering your position, considering your next move, is to make a list of your resources, consider what your resources are, and remember your internal resources, yourself, your resourcefulness is a resource, your skills are resources, your past experience or that have built your wisdom and discernment are resources. Your friends and community, your network, your web of humans is a resource, right? Anyone you know and any of their skills are a resource. And different things that you different assets and circumstances that you have are a resource, right? Um, you have the resources to move forward. This is a time for you to draw your power to you, recognize that, and get ready to take your steps and to make your move and identify how to do that in your power. We may feel nervous. The Two of Wands it's a card about getting ready to step through a portal. It's a card about getting ready to change our lives according to our desires. Wands are about our desires. They're about our ambition. They're about wanting to leave our mark on the world. And so this month, as you consider what it is that you want to do, how you wish to leave your mark on the world, what your purpose is in the moment. And this can be about your bigger life purpose, or it can just be, again, your purpose in the moment, your purpose right now, your focus. Where you place the warm glow of your attention, you will have growth. Know that you have the resources to move forward. So we're bolstering our confidence. We're not taking forever standing on the threshold like, should I, should I, should I? We want to move forward. But if we're feeling like we don't know how, we turn within, we look at our resources and we say, okay, what's the easiest next step? We don't have to plan the next 10. We just have to plan the next one. And then we take that step. And if we're not sure what to do, we just plan the next one again. It can be that simple. Life doesn't have to be about having the perfect plan. Life can be about having the vision, having the idea of like, well, here's what I think I want, and just starting to walk towards it. And we will make progress. You are guaranteed to make progress if you believe that you can take the next step. You're guaranteed to keep making progress if you keep believing it and keep taking the next step. You only have to take one of them at a time. One foot moves a little bit forward. Even penguins can do that. It's not hard. Meowie morning. Hi, Judith. Hi, Eileen. Welcome, welcome. Um, a lot of people dropping cats in the chat, so I want to get to it. Also, oh, good. Melissa has, thank you, because I want to make a public service announcement about that. Melissa has said, for my card pull, I'd love the card about energy to approach my new living situation with congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Please and thank you. I love you and you're amazing too. So if you have a request for a particular question or a particular situation that you would love for me to pull a card around, just let me know and I will make that your card pull. I'm doing single card pulls for everybody this morning. I don't think I have any patron card requests. I know Grayson usually puts in a request, so I'm going to kick off with a card for Grayson for the best energy for the coming month, because even if I don't see that request from Grayson, I know that's what they usually ask. So I'm going to kick off with that, and then I am going to just go down the list of my lovely little kitty cats who are tuned in. Okay, Grayson, your energy for the month is the King of Wands. Talk about having vision. The King of Wands, again, we have this imagery of the globe, of the map. The King of Wands points to the map and announces where he's going. Right now, his audience is an audience of his cat. Has anyone else ever done this? Like explain their plan to the cat? Because I do this on the daily. um, he is pointing to the map. He's like, here's where I'm going and here's what I want. He's speaking his vision into the world. Speaking his vision is the first step, not the whole step of making it so. So that's the thing. with manifestation. A lot of people have this, like, you speak it into existence, you manifest that shit, you say it, and you believe it super hard. And you have to also not forget to take friggin' action. Two hands, no waiting. You can't just be like, I believe it, I believe it, I believe it, I'm gonna make so much money, and sit on your couch and not open your laptop or do anything, because you're not, like, you have to do a thing. You have to enable a channel for the things you desire to come to you, right? And so that's what the King of Wands does. He is enabling a channel, for starters, just by communicating his vision to another being. He's like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going. He's starting, the first step is the conversation. The first step is saying it out loud to someone apart from himself, and saying, like, okay, I don't know exactly how I'm getting here, but I'm getting here. I'm doing the thing. I'm moving forward. And the King of Wands is resourceful enough and committed enough. He is unwavering in his belief in his vision, that he knows he's going to get there. So, Grayson, be the King of Wands you wish to see in the world. Name your vision. Name it. Decide what you want. Like, it's not time to be like, oh, whatever happens, whatever's for my highest good, whatever the universe thinks. It is time to say, this is what I want, and announce it, and announce your intention. We're not saying, oh, this is what I'd like if I can possibly do it, if it's not too much trouble or if it doesn't bother anyone. We're saying, this is what I'm doing. I'm not sure of all the logistics yet, perhaps, but this is where I'm headed. Get on the bus with me if you're interested. That's the energy of the King of Wands. So that is your energy to embody this month, Grayson. Jack is my chief advisor. He knows all my plans. I love it. I know all of the, I know all of the cats of my friends on the internet, and it's just wonderful. And I've met Jack, and even though Jack is like a little bitey sometimes, Jack's like an adorable cat. And also, you never know when he's going to be like, I'm about to bite you real hard. He's that kind of a cat. So I respect Jack from a distance. Okay, Ondine is the first on deck here. As you know, big changes ahead. Best energy, please. Absolutely. Hey, Carlene, welcome. Meow meow. Can you pull a card? I love these questions that are coming up. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm gonna get to everyone in the order that your requests were received, like on the DMV, which I have spent too much time at recently. Does anyone ever not spend too much time at the DMV? I don't think anyone's like, what I wish is that DMV visit took longer. Maybe that doesn't even need to be said. Okay, just sorry, looking on Instagram to make sure I'm getting all my Instagram pals in there. Okay, Ondine, big changes ahead, best energy, please. Let's shuffle. If you haven't already answered my 3 questions, they are, where are you tuned in from? I'm on Long Island. What you sipping on? I'm sipping on 7-Eleven water. Sponsor me. Question number 3. How are you feeling today? I want the real answer, not the polite answer. And I'm feeling physically under the weather. I've been in Fuck My Life February all month, and I kind of unearthed myself from the debris, and promptly woke up with a cold the next day. And I kind of woke up and I was like, yeah, fair. Like, my body's been bathed in cortisol for the better part of the month. Like, that's fair. And I'm in a great mood. This is the first time I've ever had a cold and been in a great mood about it, because it is one of those colds where it's like, when you're pushing and pushing, and life is getting harder and harder, and and it's finals week or it's launch week or whatever, and then you finally get to the other side of it, and then your body's like, now I can get sick. It's like that. And I'm not even mad about it, because I know that it means that Fuck My Life February is over. And I had a wonderful night last night at my gig and saw some of you wonderful humans. And I'm having a wonderful time pulling tarot cards. So I'm in a good mood even though I'm under the weather. I'm under the weather, but over the moon. Ondine, here is your card. How are you feeling? I would love to know. Your card is the 6 of Wands, babe. It's time to let yourself be in the spotlight. Now, some ground rules for letting yourself be in the spotlight. Different people will think different things of you, and you will want to correct them, and you kind of need to just get over it. Like, you need to let people be wrong about you in either direction, right? When we are visible, when we are highly visible, including when we get praise, there's always going to be haters and there's always going to be lovers, and we're going to be uncomfortable with both. We're going to be uncomfortable with the people who say wonderful things about us and don't know the whole story. We're going to be uncomfortable if people get some of the story right, but a key part of it wrong that pushes a button for us. We're going to be uncomfortable when people call us, say that we have a talent that we don't have. And of course, we're going to be uncomfortable if people like believe we don't deserve our successes or whatever, or make us, or like wet blanket us about our successes. And it's a good time to remind yourself that this visibility and people not quite getting it right is a sign of your success, right? Taylor Swift has a lot of haters. If I just go on the internet and post literally one sentence about Taylor Swift, a completely neutral sentence about Taylor Swift, you will have people coming out of the woodwork. You will have lonely white men stumbling over themselves to tell you what they don't like about Taylor Swift. And you know what? Like, she's fine. She's doing just fine without their support, right? Taylor Swift gets up in the morning and has all the money that she has and has the rich song catalog that she has created for herself and has the career that has lasted for a very, very long time for most pop artists and is like still on top of the world. Taylor Swift gets up and is like, go ahead and hate me, right? And so that's the energy that the Six of Wands invites you to have, is to know that your success is bigger than other people's perception of it. And along with success does come the stresses and realities of being in the spotlight. Now, some of us also love being spotlight. There are aspects of it that will be pure joyful, right? There's nothing wrong with enjoying showing off. I'm here to tell everyone to reclaim showing off in 2025. There's nothing wrong with being good at what you're um, but there will be stress. And as you experience it, remind you other people's opinion of me is A, none of my business, and B, not as informed as my own, right? Like, we don't have to hang our hat on what everyone else is saying about us. We can enjoy the spotlight in the moment. We can enjoy the success that it represents without making ourselves crazy about it. So that is the energy, Undine. Trust that as you hear, everybody in the kitchen sink talking about you, that's a sign of your power. It's a sign of your ability. And instead of reflecting on like getting lost in the woods of what they're saying and questioning yourself, ask yourself, wow, if these people have so much to say about me, what is it about me that's so magnetic, that's so powerful and potent, that I inspire so many conversations? That's a power. That's a resource. Use it. Okay. Okay. Hydration checkpoint. We're going to take a lot of these, y'all, because A, I have a cold and I need the hydration and I need to remember to do it. And B, I did not hydrate well yesterday. I bought this bottle of water before my gig yesterday and I drank up to about here last night. In other words, I'm bad at this. I am comprised of mostly like last night I did my gig on like 90% Dayquil and Audacity. And I am trying to be a good girl and drink my water today. So cheers, y'all. Chaka says, very relieved because I think my Fuck My Life February is letting up as well. I'm very, very glad to hear it. Nobody deserves Fuck My Life February. I'm sorry we've all had to go through it. Okay. Brittany Marie put a cat in the chat. I'm looking to see if she has anything. How are you feeling, Brittany? How are you doing? Everybody, it is Brittany Campbell Appreciation Month. So please send some love to Brittany. Send love to all the Aquarius pals we have in the chat. We have Brittany. We have Judith. Who else do we have? What other Aquarians do we have hanging out with us today? I think that's everyone that we've got today. We've also got honorable mention to my Pisces pals, Zoe, people who are getting older delightfully, because I love y'all and I love watching my friends get older, because it's the alternative. It means you're continuing to kick ass and take names. And the longer you're on this planet, the fucking happier I am. So shout out to my Aquarian and Pisces pals, Brittany, Zoe, Judith. Send some love, send some good vibes to all of them. Okay, Brittany, your card. Your card is the sun, baby. Did this card come up for you? I'm trying to remember because I did your guide card recently. Was this one of the ones that came up for you? You know that your guide cards were very salty and demanded, basically demanded more of a reading than a single card, and I went with it. But anyway, Brittany, it's time for the sun. It's time to shine a light. Where you want the thing to grow, shine a light. Where you want to understand better, shine a light. What does shine a light mean? It does not mean toxic positivity. That is what it does not mean. It literally means shine a light. Um when you're like looking for something that you cannot find, right? When you're like I don't know, like dropped something important on the floor, and if you know you don't pick it up, that your cat's going to eat it. You might turn on the flashlight on your phone so that you can see better on the floor. Shine a light to see better. If there's something wrong with your car, and you're trying to figure it out, and you're bent over your engine, and you've got YouTube open on one hand, right? Like trying to diagnose the situation, and you're like, you shine a light often. It's dark in there. Put a little light on it, right? So shine a light, meaning place the glow of your attention. Shine a light to the best of your ability. What can you do to shed more light on this situation? And often it just means focusing on it, being willing to see it in its wholeness, and having just been through fuck my life February, you don't always want to see the fullness of a situation. You don't always want to. Sometimes you're like, I already see enough and I hate it, right? But when we shine a light, what we shine a light on is the path forward. When we have a problem and we choose to focus on it, that's why people say the first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one, right? When we have a problem and we choose to acknowledge, okay, here's what the problem is, when we really give it our full attention, we can then begin to see the solution. We can't grasp the solution if we can't even look at the problem, right? So shine a light. Shine the light of your focus and your attention and your analysis on any situation that you wish to improve, whether it's you wish to improve it because you wish to grow harmoniously. The sun is largely about harmonious growth. You have a chance for incredible growth right now. So just shine a light, place your attention where you want the growth, and it will happen. So you have a choice to make, right? Every day you wake up and you're like, what growth do I want in my life? And where you place your attention is where your growth will happen. Like it's just that simple. Shine a light, baby. As a reminder to those who just tuned in, our card for the month is a Two of Wands, reminding us we do have the resources to move forward the way we want to. Keyword is want. Wands are the card of wanting, they're the suit of wanting. And if you want a thing, you are advised this month to embrace it. Instead of playing small, play big. You're advised this month to be like, I want that. Instead of being like, if it's okay, if it's for my highest good, if it doesn't bother anyone and harm none, if you want a thing, as long as it doesn't harm anyone, as long as you're not, I don't know, Elon Musk hiring a bunch of 19-year-olds to steal my social security information. Joke's on you, there's nothing in there worth having. As long as you're like actually being a responsible and kind and considerate human being, you deserve to go after the things that you want. So if you want a thing, own it. You're being asked to own your desires in March. Own your desires. This is everybody. Own your desires and know that you have the resources to move towards them, right? Sometimes it feels too big. You're like, I want this, and here's where I am, and I don't know how to cross this big cliff, right? And the good news is you don't have to do it all at once. All you have to do is start walking. All you have to do is take the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. You don't have to know more than one step ahead. So that is your goal in your job. Everyone for this month is own your desires and just take the next step. Okay? Okay. Brittany says, I woke up late, set an alarm for the Witchy Weather Report, and ended up waking up to it instead. So I'm pretty groggy. Oh man, I feel you, girl. I woke up, I snoozed a couple times. I had an alarm set for 10, and then it was 10:30, and then it was 10:40. And then I was like, Marie, you have to be online in 20 minutes. Get your shit together. And I did. um, by the way, this is a good time to tell you all, if you would like to learn tarot with me, I am going to be launching my tarot course, Keys to the Kingdom. It's going to be a new improved Keys to the Kingdom because I have recorded a bunch of classes. I did that over the course of the last year. I've recorded a bunch of classes that you'll get access to so that you can watch the classes and do the exercises in the classes. And when we get together on Zoom, we will just be doing the exercises. We'll be building the skills. We will be practicing in real time. I will be answering your questions. We'll be hands-on. So it is a new improved Keys to the Kingdom. If you've ever wanted to learn the tarot cards, now is time. I don't even have a sign-up page for you yet. I'm just telling you it's happening in March. So the next step towards this desire of mine is to tell you it's happening. I will be launching it in March, and I will be kicking it off with a tarot workshop, a 2-day weekend tarot workshop, which is going to be one of the earlier weekends in March here online. And if you're interested, I just ask that you, wherever you are, follow me. Follow me whatever social media that you're watching this on right now. And also follow me on another one. Follow me on like Instagram. Follow me on Facebook or TikTok, so that you get the information to sign up. And whether you choose to just do the weekend course, um, which will give you all the tools you need to pursue tarot on your own and get better as a reader, even if you've been reading for a while and you have like stuff you want to address, or you want to do the full 8-week course with me. Either way, I'm delighted. But it's coming up. So if you want to learn the tarot, now is your opportunity. And feel free to message me too if you want. Like, drop me a message if you would like me to send you that link when it's ready. I would love to. Okay, let's see who's on deck. Next up, we got Melissa Marie. Now, Melissa had a very particular question. I am taking a look. Hey, Shelby, did you want a card? I saw that you said hello, but I want to make sure that I pull a card for you if you want one. Melissa, I would love a card about energy to approach my new living situation with. Please and thank you. Melissa, your card is the Page of Wands, babe. Learn. Be a student of what's possible now that you are going to be in this new living situation. So it's really interesting because like literally this card depicts someone with like like carrying a stick with a bag on it over their shoulder, which I actually just noticed that imagery in one of your poems the other night when you were featuring at your own open mic about that, like packing a bag, putting it over a stick and going off into the sunset kind of. And literally that's who you are right now. Like you are gathering your belongings and starting your new life. So understand that newness will come to you. You've already set yourself on the journey, and therefore you will meet everything you're set to meet on the journey is coming up for you. So new situations will just show up, as well as you are going to put yourself into new situations, both, right? And so your job right now is to just allow things to unfold, allow yourself to unfold, right? It's not like sit on your laurels and do nothing. You get to have a say in how things unfold. But your job right now is to be a student of what's possible. Be expansive. Your current living situation, your new living situation is going to be a big upgrade. And I want to tell you how much it's come to my attention, especially in the last month, that context, what's around us, has a lot to do with what we think is possible. I have watched my beliefs about what I'm capable of and about what is possible for me. I have watched them rise and fall depending on the context as I've been through Fuck My Life February. And I've noticed that my environment, my circumstances right in the exact moment play a big role in how I feel about what's possible. You're about to get a living situation upgrade. It is time to also get a what is possible upgrade. It is time to allow your mindset around what is possible for you, what you are capable of, and what is conceivable for you to evolve and expand. It is time to allow your horizons to expand. Don't walk into this with a fixed mindset. Walk into this with a mindset of like, what I think is possible may not be the full picture. And I'm excited to see the full picture. Okay, let's see. Who is next on deck? Okay, yes, Shelby did drop a cat. Okay, Shelby, I'm going to pull a card for you. On deck after that is Chaka and then Judith. And if anyone has questions, I got you. Meow, meow. Good morning, everybody. By the way, you get double trouble today. I will be on Coffee Bean Tarot's live stream this evening. So if you don't already follow Coffee Bean Tarot, what are you even doing with your life? You may know Coffee Bean Tarot as Selma from Doodles Noth. They have a tarot business, they're an incredible reader, they're an incredible human, and they do a live stream every Sunday night at 7 Eastern time. And I'm going to be guesting on their live stream this week. So later, you can tune in for more me and also Selma at Coffee Bean Tarot on Instagram. And it's spelled like you think, except that the O's are zeros. So Coffee Bean Tarot, but the O in coffee and the O in tarot are both zeros. And if you search for it the regular way, I think it still comes up. Instagram takes pity on you. Anyway, I hope you'll tune in for that. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be hanging. We're going to be pulling some cards. We're going to be chatting about all kinds of nonsense. It's going to be a good vibe. Shelby, your card is the world, baby. You're coming to the end of this cycle, so hold tight. Because I know there's been some things that you're like trying to close the book on, you know? And so this is the thing, when we make changes in our lives, we have usually one of two goals, or usually we have two of two goals, right? And one goal is end this current chapter, right? Leave a job we don't like, leave a relationship that isn't working for us, leave behind self-sabotaging behaviors, right? So one of them is the closing door, right? And the second goal is move towards what I do want, right? Find the relationship or relationship status, right? That will fulfill me, because it may not be a relationship, it may not just be just one, it might be the relationship with yourself, right? It might be embracing that. It might be finding the new job that will be meaningful, or pursuing your career path in a way that's different. It might be expanding on what self-love and self-care means to you, and learning what it looks like to show up for yourself and your creativity, whatever. We have two goals usually, right? And one is goodbye to this bullshit, and hello, and the other one is hello to this good shit, right? Goodbye to the bullshit, hello to the good shit. And you have been trying to say goodbye to some bullshit for a while. And the world is really your card saying that you get to set yourself free this month. Um, Now, some of this requires you actively saying goodbye, babe. But it really is that simple. And letting go isn't always as simple as just like opening our hands and letting go, right? We wish it was sometimes. Um, we're hardwired to grasp onto the familiar, so it can be challenging. But you see how this witch is like this cap, the wind is blowing her cap away. Like it's like graduation, you know? And she's just like, goodbye. I don't need that fucking cap. I'm into the new chapter. Fuck this. And so you get to leave behind some of the things that have been plaguing you. And so I encourage you to embrace your freedom and to allow yourself to take it slow. You don't have to dive into actualizing every single thought you've had in the last whatever 18 months. You know what I mean? Which isn't to say don't start doing those things, but allow yourself to taste the deliciousness of how you have freed yourself from certain bullshit. Allow yourself to taste the deliciousness of how your human squishy animal body would be responding to a given situation, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years ago, versus how it is responding right now. Allow yourself to taste the deliciousness of how much you have already set yourself free. And the more you notice that, the more we focus on it, the more it grows. Taste the deliciousness of the freedom you have already bought for yourself, and more is to come. Ooh, I see someone with a really cool bird profile just started following me on Instagram. Hello, welcome. If you're new to the broadcast, if you'd like a card, the secret code is to drop a cat emoji in the chat. So please feel free. Um, or to write the word meow. Okay. Who else is on deck? My comments are quiet. The last comment I have is from Brittany. Everyone seeing and hearing me okay? Everybody, if you have a minute, drop a comment and tell me, I don't know. Tell me what your favorite song of the week is. Tell me what song is really hitting it for you right now. Um, Mine is Sparrow by Jump Little Children, which is incidentally also the theme song to my new car, Sparrow the Subaru. Meow meow. Okay. Aria Om. I hope I'm correctly interpreting your username. It looks like Aria Om is what I should be saying. That's really interesting. I remember having a dream. Oh gosh, y'all, I'm about to get real woo woo, and I'm not usually like this. I remember having a dream about being in a library. I was telling Brittany, I was telling you about this. I've been having this dream lately where I'm in a library and I'm in the children's section and I'm for a particular book by a particular author and like can't quite figure out where it will be. So I'm like looking, but I kind of am like adrift, like I'm not, my search is not going well, and the library is going to close soon. And it's like it's a real interesting, like there's something going on with like me and like my next steps for my inner child or something, where I'm trying to like whatever. But anyway, I remember the last time I had that library dream that the author's name had the word Arya in it. And seeing your username just made that come up for me again. So I don't know, maybe you're the library book that I've been searching for. Is that a creepy thing here? I don't mean it that way. Anyway, you'll be on deck. I've got a couple people ahead of you, but I will pull a card for you if I haven't terrified you. Okay, next on deck. I pulled a card for Melissa. I pulled a card for Shelby, and now it is time for Chaka, followed by Judith. Do 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 do. Bow. By the way, if you just joined the broadcast, our card for everyone is the Two of Wands. It is time to own our desires in March. That means want what we want. As long as what you want is not harmful to others, right? As long as you don't want to, I don't know, take a democratic nation and turn it into a fascist one, for example, just pulling that out of the air wildly, as long as what you want is not directly harmful to others, you have every right to go after what you want. You have every right to want the things you want just for the sake of it. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's in there, bitches. And that's your job in March, is to allow yourself to pursue your happiness. To say, yes, I deserve to pursue my happiness. And furthermore, I have the resources to move towards it. And all you have to do with the Two of Wands is just take the next step. We don't have to think 10 steps ahead. We don't have to have the whole plan. We just have to believe, all right, I don't know how I'll get there all the way, but I want it. And I do have the resources to take the next step. And I'm allowing that to be enough right now. That's the vibe. Okay. Chaka, this card is for you. Did Chaka ask a particular question? I scroll and see. I don't think so. I just see cats. Okay. Chaka, you have also received the sun today. So similar to what I told Brittany, where you place your focus is what will grow in your life. What do you want to see grow in your life? Now, it's interesting because Shelby got this the world, which is like the big end of a chapter, the delicious turning of the page card, right? Like that's how I would refer to the world, as like, hell yes, it's over. Like me waking up and fuck my life February being over and I don't even care that I have a cold. That's the world right there. Right? Now you got the sun. Now the sun is about shining a light on what you want to see. The world is like goodbye bullshit that I don't want. And the sun is like hello new shit that I do want, right? You have an opportunity to make things in your life grow right now. Tis the season, right? Tis the season for planting some seeds and nurturing them. And the question is, Chaka, what is it that you want? What growth do you want to see in your life? What personal growth do you want to see? What growth do you want to see in yourself, as well as externally? What situations do you want to see begin to flourish? And where you focus your attention is where you get the growth. Now, growth is messy, right? Like that's the nature of growth, right? You will focus your attention and you will get the growth, and then you will have all of the delicious new problems of anyone trying to grow a thing, right? Suddenly you'll be like, cool, I have this lavender plant and I don't know how much to water it, and it can get root rot, and lavender smells so pretty, but I'm not very good at growing it. This is definitely not from personal experience. I keep trying to grow lavender and it doesn't like me. Right? Like we start growing a thing and then we have to deal with the implications of choosing to grow it, right? But ultimately, if you keep putting your attention, if you keep shining the light of simply being willing to look at the thing, simply being willing to place your attention on a thing, it will keep growing. When you don't know what to do, just simply place your attention there. You're a meditator, right? Part of the goal of meditating is practicing where we place our attention. Just place your attention on where you want the growth, and you will get growth. And then you get a field of fucking sunflowers, you know? So you decide, what are the sunflowers that you want in your life? That is the question. That is the question. Doing a little shuffling. I believe Judith is next on deck. Do 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 do. Just making sure that everyone's comments are coming through. Because for some reason, from Brittany at 11:30, and it's 11:46, and I'm like, what happened? Am I saying things so profound that no one is commenting? Or is there a technical problem? Let me know. Let me know, my friends. I'm gonna check the stream on Twitch too, because I know we've got some twitchy people. Twitch.tv/Sassafras Tarot. Cool. Okay, the last thing I see is Brittany's thing. So I don't know. Maybe y'all are just, so enthralled by my wisdom. Good luck with that, y'all. Anyway, say hi, assuage my. If you get a chance in the comments. Next up, we have Judith. Let's see. I see your cats. I'm just making sure there's not anything. So here's what we have: Judith, Eileen, Carlene, and then Aria. Thank you, Aria. I see you and I appreciate you. Okay. Judith, this is your card. Your card is the King of Swords. It's time for the truth, babe. It is not time to appease everybody with what their version of the truth is. Oh, I see how that's true for you. No, the King of Swords is like, this is what the fucking book says. It's right here. He's pointing with his sword. He's not even pointing with his finger. He's pointing with his sword, which is a little bit like, did anyone see that episode of Seinfeld where the person would point with their middle finger? Like, oh, see, it's right there. It's a little bit of that move. King of Swords is like, listen, I don't make the rules, but facts is facts, right? That's your energy this month, is do not allow others to dissuade you from what you know to be true. And sometimes it is needed for someone to lay down the law of like, here's what's true, right? Facts, not feelings, right? And there are times when we will emotively want to talk about what we feel is true, and that's not the vibe here, right? The King of Swords will get in his feelings about the truth because he thinks that everyone should be evidence-based. He's one of those guys, you know what I mean? Which is great. Evidence-based is great. We love evidence-based information. So the King of Swords will get frustrated if others don't seem to be following the facts, right? But that's kind of like the biggest emotion he's going to have about it. He's not in there like, well, I want this to be true, so I'll pretend it is, right? And we're all that's possible for all of us. It's possible for all of us to bend the facts a little based on what we're rooting for. And you're encouraged to just look at the facts, redirect yourself repeatedly to the facts, right? And if there's a situation in particular that's getting you emotional, um, you're being asked to redirect to simply the facts. You're asked to not hate your emotions or discard them, but like allow them, be like, hang on, emotions, we're gonna look at the facts together, right? To treat your emotions almost like you would treat like a very, very stressed toddler, right? And be like, okay, let's look at this, let's calm down and take a look at this one step at a time, right? And so you're being asked to look at the facts in situations that are causing you a lot of grief. You're being asked to say, okay, here are all the things I'm feeling, name them so that you can get the facts of naming your emotions out of the way. And then be like, here's the facts of this situation. This is a fact. This is true. And we might find that some more feelings come up, right? We might find that, like, okay, well, the facts of this situation is, I don't know, whatever. Like, the fact of this situation is, I just got this letter from a government entity that says this about my social security. Um, and then we have all the feelings that will come up, right? And the fact is that this makes me feel afraid that I'll be homeless. This makes me feel blah blah blah. This makes me feel angry. This makes me feel whatever. The feelings are not the facts. The facts are, I got this letter that says something, and here's what it says, right? We don't even know if what the letter says is factual. We only know that the letter says what it says. And so it's this opportunity to give yourself this very, very dry, analytical look at your situations of we're not letting our feelings run away with us. We're simply looking at the facts. And you may be in the position too to draw other people back to the facts when people start to lose their heads and have emotional responses to what's going on. You have an opportunity to say, let's look at the actual facts of the situation. We can acknowledge that it's a fact that you might feel certain things about this, but let's look at the facts of the situation and make our decisions based on the facts. That is your vibe. King of Swords all month, baby. Hey, Eileen, thank you for commenting. Back and neck are very cranky this morning. I'm sorry about your cranky back and neck. I feel their pain. I'm sending you love. Everybody, send some good love to Eileen's back and neck. Send some vibes. I'm sending some healing vibes and some soothing vibes. Two different vibes. Healing solves the problem, soothing makes you feel better about it. I always like both. Okay, back and neck are very cranky. Love some guidance around launching your new duo. Oh, I'm so excited about that, Eileen. I know that's been like a little bit in the making. That's really excited. That's really exciting. Okay, who do we have? You're on deck. So we have Eileen, then we have Zoe, and then we have Carlene, and then we have Aria. I can remember things. Eileen, your card is the Queen of Cups. Do what you feel, baby. This is your opportunity to feel your way through what you want. You should be leading this from your heart, from an emotional, dare I say it, you should be leading it from an emotional place. And I know that as a woman in the music scene, um, women also often get accused of being too emotional, like usually by men who are so emotional that they can't deal with a woman in their power because it gives them feelings of discomfort. It's not a time to lean away from your emotionality. It's a time to let your emotional wisdom be your guide and your intuition. Allow yourself to feel your way through this. It's like opposite day to the advice I just gave to Judith. Feel your way through this. You have so much to offer. That's what's really important for you to know about this duo. It's not just about you. Like, yes, you should be seeking your emotional fulfillment. And in so doing, you will stumble upon giving gifts to others. And what I mean is that the when you follow your heart, when you follow what emotionally feels delicious for you about this duo, right? What just feels right, right, right. When you follow, whether it's like this, the right songs, the right venue, the right way of practicing, right? Like this is your chance to really do it the way you feel like, you know? And when you follow your feelings in that way and you honor them and you're like, yes, I will do what my feelings are asking of me here because your emotional wisdom is meant to drive the bus right now. When you do, what happens is you give a gift to other even meaning to. This is calling shit. This is purpose shit. When we show up for our heart of hearts, it connects with other people who need the same thing. When we show up and we feel our way through and we intuit our way through, we naturally, our gifts just spill out of us and help everyone they touch. Like naturally, it's how you get to those situations where you sing a song and someone comes up to you afterwards and is like, whatever, I just went through a breakup and you're healing me today. Or I just wanted to tell you about this situation in my life and your song spoke to me and I feel better now. Like where you get those magic moments that every performer lives for. Um, you get those moments of knowing that you're using your gift and it is hitting for people by following your heart of hearts. Do what you feel it out, and make it very heart centered. Make it centered in what you feel, what you dream, like your own most delicious vision, like sinking into a warm bath. Like, like this, she's like literally standing on the edge of this beautiful glittering beach, right? And it just makes me think of those beautiful moments where you're at the beach and you're like, the sun is out and I can feel the water on my toes and I'm about to have an amazing day. Like approach this though with that energy. Let it be as just uncomplicatedly delicious as you can for you and set it up so that you have more of that delicious feeling. And in so doing, you will unlock giving the gift to others with your music. You will unlock wonderful experiences for everyone who it touches. Okay. Next up, we have Zoe. Good meowing, Zoe. I'm pulling a card for you. Zoe, I saw your photo at the workshop. I'm so excited that you're recording. I'm so, so excited. Happy birthday, by the way. I know it's around. I know the time is nigh. Zoe, we have the Four of Cups. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about areas in life where you're like, well, this isn't great, but it is what it is. It's time to eradicate the phrase, it is what it is, from your vocabulary. You know how sometimes we say that, and it's like a nice or polite way of saying, like, this sucks, but what you going to do about it, right? Um, and um, it's time to no longer accept this sucks, but what are you going to do about it? It's time to ask yourself legitimately that question, what am I going to do about it? Because I deserve better than this sucking, right? It is, in a way, we're talking about shining a light of your attention, because the Four of Cups asks us to shine a light on where things are kind of a little like meh. We deserve better than meh, right? We don't deserve to go through life kind of like it's good enough. You know, when like was tuning my guitar on stage the other night. And you know when like people are like tuning and they're like, "Ah, what's going on with this B string? Ah, it's close enough for jazz, right?" And I'm at a point where I'm like, "Hey, audience, I'm going to take a moment to tune because you deserve better." We're not settling. We're not settling for playing through the song with a B string just set that just sounds a little off. That's going to drive us crazy every time the chorus comes around. We're not settling it. Instead, we're asking ourselves, what sucks a little bit and what steps can I take to not have to live with that suckage? Because I deserve better, right? And sometimes that step might be correcting a problem, like looking a problem that we'd rather not deal with in the face. Maybe something that's annoying, but we never feel like putting the effort in to fix it, right? Like, um, I had my old car, which I guess I no longer have to deal with this problem. Maybe it's a bad example, but I had this one tire that would um, every so often give me a low pressure warning. I probably had like a very small nail or something in it, but it was like every so often, like every 3, 4 months, and I couldn't find whatever was in it. And I would go, I'd like just go down the road to like the place that has free air near me, and I would just fill it up every few months. And every time I did, I was like, at some point, I'm gonna have to deal with this tire, right? It was annoying. It wasn't a big enough problem for me to like deal with it head on, right? And like look at those things that are just causing you a little bit of annoyance, right? As that tire took more and more time out of my life, as I found myself having to fill it more and more, the appropriate thing for me to do would be to deal with it so I didn't have to keep, right, filling it up with air, right? Taking that little extra step, like when you have an old car and you're like, sometimes it doesn't start, but you just have to jiggle it a few times. And that means that usually like 90% of the time it works and 10% of the time you're so frustrated, right? And we reach a point where it's like, no, it's time to solve the frustration for myself. I don't deserve to be tearing my hair out over this. Time to solve the problem. And also, there are going to be areas that feel meh because you have something that's not actualized in you that wishes to be expressed, right? That where you have a desire and instead you've got the menu, right? Like we were talking about like diner orders the other day when we were out at the diner, right? And it's like the nice thing about a diner is that you can almost get any kind of food you want. And I always admire my friends who order off menu. They're like, "Can I get this, but this, and with a side of this?" And it's like a weird combination of things, but it obviously fulfills their exact desire. And if you have been telling yourself, well, what I really want is this, but what I'll take is this because it's all that's available to me, that's something to take a closer look at as well. It's time to order off menu. It's not your job to box yourself in with what's on the menu. Order the friggin' grape leaves and the disco fries and get cheddar instead of mozzarella. Like, do it the way you want it. It is time to honor yourself enough to shine the light on what feels kind of meh to you and elevate. Oh my God. Zoe said I'm literally looking at a low tire pressure error right now. What is the universe? Universe be universing. That's really funny. Um, Listen, just take it to a person and fill it up. Do the thing. And actually, it might just be because it's cold. It's really cold right now, so don't let me tell you what to do. If it's one tire that consistently gets low, take it to a person, but it might just be because it's cold. I've been getting low tire errors in the various cars I've been borrowing through the last week because we've been having a cold snap. Might just be because it's cold. That's really funny. Meow meow. Hi Margaret, it's so good to see you. I've got you on my list. Don't worry. It's noon. I usually have a hard stop at noon. I'm going to keep going. Y'all deserve all the cards. Don't worry. Um, if you have arrived and made your request, I'm cutting off card requests now. But if you have arrived and made your request, I will get to you. I promise. Next on deck, we have Carlene, then we have Aria, and then we have Margaret, and that is all the cards. Now, if you just came in, the card for the month of March for everybody is the Two of Wands. It's time to own our friggin' desires in the month of March. Now we're getting this little bit of a theme of like shining a light on something, like look at the thing. Look honestly at the thing. Look honestly at the thing and look honestly at yourself about the thing, right? Like our feelings and our thoughts. Shining the light is what will move us forward. And so the Two of Wands tells us to own our desires. It is our literal job to own our desires and show up for them. It is not actually our job and benefits zero people for us to be like, well, whatever the universe wants, whatever's for my highest good, I'll surrender to the will of the universe. That doesn't actually serve a single fucking person. You're here to live your best life. And by living your best life, you help others live their best lives and you make the impact with your gifts that you are meant to make in a way that feels delicious to you instead of like you're on the struggle bus all the time. That's literally like that is your job. Your job is to own what you want, not to pretend not to, and to go after it to the best of your ability. That doesn't mean it's always easy. But with the Two of Wands, it's easier than you think. Believe again. Believe that you can go on an adventure again. Believe in your dreams again. That is the energy of March. Anyway, Carlene, pulling a card for you. I know you had a question. Meow meow. Can you pull a card regarding this month, trusting myself and others? Yes, I can. Here's your card. It's the Page of Wands. Believe that there's more to the story than you know. And I don't mean that in a negative way because I just heard myself say those words, and I know you're asking about trusting others, and I know that that could come out weird. I don't mean it like that. I mean that with the Page of Wands, we need to be willing to be a student of the situation. We need to be willing to understand that our assessment of things is not made with facts, is not made with all the knowledge. So the Page of Wands invites you, pages in general, they invite you to understand I don't know what I don't know. And specifically, it's around what you want. It's around getting your desires and going after your desires. And you have to remind yourself at this time, I don't know what I don't know. And so sometimes remembering that will spark some curiosity. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what I don't know. Maybe I could find out, right? You know, like if you're like looking to do something, if you're exploring a relationship with somebody, if you're whatever it may be, often the next step is to have a conversation, right? I don't know what I don't know. I know that I don't want to do this thing. Well, maybe I Google it to see how someone else did it. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what this person is thinking about me and it's stressing out. So I'm going to take a wild fucking move and ask them. I just want to tell you, I'm going to put myself in business by just telling you, you're allowed to ask people what they're thinking about you. You're allowed to ask people what they want from you and with you, and you are allowed to ask people how they feel about you. You're allowed. There's no rule against it. And I'm telling you, this is going to put me out of business because 90% of the questions I get from strangers is, what are they thinking of me? Are they going to call me? Do they want a relationship with me? And I just want to tell you, you're allowed to ask. And I tell you this because with the Page of Wands, it indicates that there are some desires there that are not actualized yet. And it feels a little bit fledgling and new. It feels a little bit like when we're first on a journey, we're taking the first few steps and we know what we want and we're very hopeful. And as a result, we can be a little vulnerable, right? And it's time for you to acknowledge, I don't know what I don't know. But keep this spirit of adventure of like, well, I could ask. I could ask someone who might know. I could find out, right? And simply too, sometimes we can't have all the facts and we still have to keep walking. Keep walking, keep walking with the understanding that, maybe what the world is giving you is about 20% of information that you wish you had, right? And you can only do your and make the best decisions that you can in the moment. You don't have to make yourself crazy about it, but be aware, I what I know. So instead of ruminating about it and being like, oh God, what if this, what if this, what if this? We have to at some point let go and say, I'll do my best with what I do know. I'll do my best to gather the information I can, but in the meantime, I'm simply going to act on my own behalf. I'm going to go after what I want. I don't know what I don't know. What if they're thinking this about me? Ask them. Just ask. I don't know what I don't know. What if my car breaks down in the middle of Indiana and everything falls apart? Well, first of all, get AAA and go on the trip anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's the energy. It's like we can't plan away risk. We can keep moving forward and still do our best to advocate for ourselves, right? I don't know what I don't know, but I do have some power. I can ask questions. I can start a conversation. I can, invest in AAA so I don't get stranded just in case my car doesn't make it there. AAA has proven to be a very good investment for me over the last month. Um, you know, I can I can keep moving. Allow yourself to keep moving with the understanding, no, I don't know what I don't know. And sometimes that means exploring some information, and sometimes it just means doing your best with what you already have. Okay, okay. I'm the worst at letting go. I understand. I understand. And sometimes, you know what? Like taking some action around it can make us feel empowered enough. Like, for example, if we're like, I want to go on this road trip, but I'm worried about taking a long drive along. So get AAA, right? It's like $40 or $50, for a year membership to AAA. And if something happens to you in your car, you can call them and they will just save you wherever you are, right? So like do the equivalent of AAA for whatever it is that you're nervous about, right? Um, right? If it's a car trip, it's pretty straightforward. If it's something like, I don't know, I'm nervous about this relationship, then do the equivalent by saying, okay, well, I'm going to make a practice of being communicative and speaking up and asking questions when I have them instead of ruminating, right? Like that's your AAA for that situation. Or I'm going to surround myself, I'm going to have a couple of friends and be like, hey, guess what, friends? I'm going through this new thing and I'm excited about it. And also I'm anxious about it. Can I text you when I'm going down a hole? Can I text you when I'm spiraling? Um, get yourself the help you need, right? If you know you're stressed, then just put some things in place. Put the AAA in place so that, someone can and rescue you if, something happens to your car. Put the AAA of friendship in place so that a friend can come and steer you back to the road if you start to go down a rabbit hole, like just put one or two things in place that will help you forward. And that might make you feel bold enough to keep walking. Cool. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, Sean Hammond. I've only got two cards left. So this broadcast is almost over. But if you just tuned in, I will tell you the card for everyone is the Two of Wands. The month of March is a time to own what we want and go after it. And trust that we have the resources to take the next step. And we don't have to know the whole journey. We just have to know the next step and take it. Okay, Aria, it is your turn. You've been waiting very patiently and pulling a card for you. And next, Margaret, and that will conclude our broadcast for the day. If you'd like to learn tarot cards with me, follow me because I'm going to be launching my tarot class. I'll be offering a workshop, a weekend workshop, like very low cost, very affordable. If you want to just like get the basics, get a crash course and like hit the ground running. And I will also be offering a larger 8 weeks course if you want the hand holding. So if you're interested in either of those things, follow me wherever you are because I will be posting about them in the next week or so. And if anyone wants a full big March tarot report, the URL is tinyurl.com/your tarot month. If you want a week by week, play by play of what March is going to bring, you can get it at tinyurl.com/your tarot month. It's $37. If you subscribe, and a couple of people have done this, thank you. I love getting to read for you every month. It's really fun. If you subscribe, it's $27 a month. And you can cancel anytime. I'm not a jerk about it. I don't make it hard like Planet Fitness. Aria, this card is for you. Aria, we have the Three of Swords. What is hurting your heart right now? I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to be hard, which is pay attention to where the pain is. Something that I've learned kind of inversely is that when I put my focus on pain, it hurts a little less. And it's actually the of what my mom used to tell me, which is when I was like in pain from, I don't know, whatever, like if I like it's my knee or if I whatever, had a headache or something, she'd be like, well, don't think about it and it won't hurt so much. Which I mean, first of all, don't tell a child not to think about something. I'm going to think about it right away. What I found is that when I allow myself to simply experience what I'm going through, it's not as horrendous as it feels from my resistance to it. This first when I was at the dentist for the first time in, I wanna say my late 20s. It wasn't the first time I ever went to a dentist. It was the first time I ever had a cavity filled. I had never had a cavity until my 20s, which everyone's like, "Wow, that's amazing, good for you," and it's like, good for me, except that here I was at, 26, 27, terrified because I'd never had the experience. Um, and it was, like, it wasn't like a party. I didn't have a great time at the dentist that day getting my tooth drilled into, and getting, like, a big shot, like, right in my jaw. Like, that's horror movie shit. But I found that by just allowing myself to focus, like, to breathe and to allow myself to just experience what was happening, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And a lesser version of this is like when you have a sink full of dishes and you're like, "Ugh, I don't wanna deal with those dishes. I don't wanna deal with those dishes," and they pile up and they pile up, and then one day you're like, "I got to, I'm out of silverware," and you start doing the dishes, and as you are washing, you're like, "This really isn't so bad. Like, why did I put this off so long?" So, for you right now, Arya, um, what is the emotional pain that you've been trying to keep at arm's length? Not because I want you to feel pain. That's not why I'm asking. And of course, if it's something that's so big that it might trigger you, like get the support that you need before you look deeply at it. But what is the emotional pain that you're trying to keep at arm's length right now? Because I think if you shine your attention on it a little bit, um, you might find the way through. Sometimes we just have to feel a thing. And the Three of Swords feels painful, usually because somebody that we care about has said something to us or acted in a way that feels personally hurtful. However, usually also with the Three of Swords, the hurt is not intentional. The Three of Swords is often about people hurting people without meaning to, because that's just life. That's just relationship. It's gonna happen, right? Um, if we have relationships that are meaningful with us, they're gonna come with the occasional painful misunderstanding because as we are vulnerable, we leave ourselves open. And often the way we find out that a dear friend or a lover or a relative has a particular sensitivity that we want to take care around is by accidentally walking on it, right? Have you ever said something to a friend and you said it like casually or made a joke about it and you watch the expression on their face go like, and it was clear you're like, "Oh shit, I was trying to make a joke and that really hurt that person." And now and then you're like, "Oh no, the last thing I wanted to do was hurt that person," right? That's the energy of the 3 of swords. And when you are the person being hurt, it's very hard to if something presses a wound for you, it's very hard to see, um, that it may not be intentional. But looking at it a little closer might give you the perspective, might help you see this is a wound that's painful and give you permission to care for yourself around it. You don't have to just sit there in the pain and ignore it. You're allowed to care for yourself, right? We don't do this with emotional wounds. When we get wounded, like when we like, I don't know, get a paper cut or we like, cut ourselves chopping onions or something, we tend to that wound. And we know that we should tend to it. And we're like, well, I need to stop what I'm doing and I need to like at least like run some water on it, maybe put some peroxide in a band-aid so it doesn't get infected, right? Like we know that the correct thing to do is to pay attention to the wound, not ignore it. And we don't always do this with our emotional wounds. With our emotional wounds, it's like it's as though we think if we ignore it, maybe it'll go away. And the truth is, if we pay a little attention to it, we'll know what we have to do to heal it, right? Just like if we cut ourselves or whatever, if we pay a little attention to it, if we like honestly look at it, we're like, okay, like it gives us the information we need, right? Okay, this is something I can take care of at home. I just need to like put a little neosporin in a band-aid and I'm good. Or you know what? I might need stitches. Maybe I should go to urgent care, right? And just by paying attention, we learn what we need. So I'm going to ask you to pay enough attention just to make an assessment. What do you need right now? Because you have a right to meet your emotional needs. And even if your hurt is being caused in a relationship, what I hear is disconnect. It hurts my heart. I see that. I see that coming in the chat. Even if it feels like it's another person who is, causing this pain for us or nudging at a painful place for us, it doesn't mean that we can't take care of that pain ourselves. It doesn't mean we can't give ourselves care. Regardless of what they do, we still deserve care. Now, if it's someone who is kind to us and belongs in our life, they usually want to hear it. They usually want to know, right? I want to know. If I say something to a friend that makes them feel shitty, I want to know so I can never say it again because I never want my friend to feel shitty again, right? Um, I want to know. And if it's someone who doesn't belong in your life, they might not want to hear it, right? We've all had a situation with someone where we were vulnerable and we said, "Hey, that really hurt me." And they were like, "Well, maybe you're just too sensitive." And you know what? That's a sign that that person is not going to take care of your feelings in that way. And maybe they don't belong closer than arm's length, you know? Now, I don't know your interpersonal situation. I do know that you deserve to take care of your feelings around this. I do know that you deserve kindness around this. So give yourself love, you know, whatever you need right now that would heal your heart, give it to yourself in as much abundance as you possibly can. Like, drop everything and take care of it, just as you would, like, if you, like, whatever, nicked yourself while cutting onions, right? You would stop cutting onions. You would take care of the wound, right? Just take care of yourself for a minute, you know? Give yourself the emotional care that you need and deserve. And I know that this disconnect doesn't necessarily represent the end of the world. It might just represent a misunderstanding. And once you've given yourself a little bit of care, you might be in a better position to be like, okay, now I've given myself what I need, right? And then you can identify what the relationship or situation may or may not need, right? What may improve it. And I remind you, as I said to someone else earlier, you're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to ask someone, what did you mean by that? You're allowed to ask someone, did you realize that you haven't called me in 3 weeks and I'm the one who always calls you first? You're allowed. There's nothing wrong with asking a question, you know, whatever it may be. And we only learn from each other when we open up to each other. Anyway, I'm just sending you a lot of love right now. Margaret, you are our closer, baby. I'm pulling a card for you, and then that is going to be it for today. However, if you want more me, what could be better? If you want more me in your life, I'm going to be on Coffee Bean Tarot's live at 7 p.m. tonight. That's Eastern time, so 7 Eastern time, which I think is 4 Pacific time. It's midnight in the UK. That's fun. What a fun midnight experience if you're in the UK. And other times in other places on Coffee Bean Tarot on Instagram. Anyway, Margaret, this card is for you. Baby, it's the 7 of Wands. Who is making you feel judged? Because I want to punch him in the face. We have this feeling of feeling judged, feeling like we have to be on a witness stand, feeling like our actions and thoughts and feelings are being called into question, and we have to be very defensive. We see this defensive pose that this witch is taking, right? Feeling backed into a corner. And I just want to remind you that you get to decide several things. You get to decide who is going to push you back into a corner. You're allowed to just stand your ground. You get to decide who you answer to and don't answer to. In other words, who gets to judge you, right? You get to decide if someone's opinion even fucking matters to you, right? If someone's like, why did you do that? You actually don't have to answer that question. Just as I've been telling everyone, you have a right to ask questions. You have a right to answer according to how you feel. If someone says, "Why did you do that? What's the matter with you?" and they're asking in a judgy way, you have the right to just say, "I'm not gonna talk to you. You're not speaking to me respectfully. Bye." You have the right to simply end the conversation. You have the right to decide whether or not their judgments are important for you to base your life around, right? If this is somebody who you know is like kind of a judgy jerk, I urge you not to take their opinion as very important because you know most of their opinions are kind of jerk opinions. So you shouldn't take your own self-esteem based on the opinions of a jerk, right? You also have a right to decide if you feel stressed what you're going to do about it. You could decide to like, okay, I'll answer your questions, right? You could decide to panic or you could decide to say, I'm only willing to talk about this if we do it in a calm way, you know? You're allowed in every situation to have boundaries. And you could decide to say, we're never talking about this. You could decide to say, we're only talking about this on the terms that we do it calmly and respectfully. And if that stops, I walk. And you could, you know, you can decide also how much you're willing to let it seep into your own self-concept. It can affect us when other people say things about us that are hurtful or mean, or especially when people misunderstand us. And there's a high chance of being misunderstood with the Seven of Wands. When people misunderstand us, it's like we want to jump to our own defense. That's a good move. That's like healthy. That's a self-care move that we want to defend ourselves. But we do get to take a step back and ask ourselves, who am I defending myself to? Does their opinion really matter? Or is my opinion of myself what counts? And whoever else, like perhaps your spiritual, like higher power, is their opinion what counts, right? Is my loved ones and my true confidants, like I would listen to them if they had a negative opinion about me because they know me really well, but this person doesn't. We get to decide how much we allow other people's beliefs to impact us. And that doesn't mean that we just subject ourselves and like try to have a thick skin about it. It means that if we know someone's going to be judging us and going to be saying shitty shit to us all the time, we have a right to do what we can to remove ourselves from those situations so we don't constantly have to have a thick skin. We have a right to say, these conversations are off limits with me, and just avoid speaking to that person who we know is going to just poke at us, because we don't owe it to anyone to just be poked at. So I just want to remind you of your power, Margaret. If you're feeling judged, if you're feeling picked on, that you have choices. You get to choose how much credence you give to other people's views of you. You get to choose how much time and energy you give to the situation, and you get to have boundaries. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the Witchy Weather Report. If you would like to learn the tarot with me, stick around, follow me, make sure that you get notifications, because I will be launching I'll be launching a small tarot workshop, which will let you hit the ground running. If either you've never read for yourself before, or you've tried and tried and tried to get good at reading tarot but never really got off the ground, this workshop will help you with that. And if you want like the hand holding, if you want like the journey, I am going to have an 8-week course as well. So if you're interested in that, that's coming up in March. Follow me. Follow me. And if you want a March tarot report, it's tinyurl.com/your tarot month. I would love to read for you about your March. I give you a week by week overview of, here's the energy of this week, here's the energy of week 2, here's the energy, etc. And also give you a couple of cards that are just about like, here's how to show up, here's what to avoid, and here's what you might not understand about the situation, so that you can move forward through the month in your power and make the best decisions with what is facing you. All right, my loves, have a wonderful, take good care of yourselves. Cheers.